Hey there guys, how are you today and welcome to a brand new episode of I Ask Twitter. Yes, this is the series where I ask a question on Twitter about Formula 1 and with all the answers I get from all of you guys, I make a video. So, this week I asked Twitter to tell me 3 things you want to see happen at the 2019 British Grand Prix. Of course, the British Grand Prix taking place this weekend. Tell me in the comments down below how excited you are, out of 10. And let's get into it, my home Grand Prix. So here we go. David says, first, he would like to see good close racing between Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari. Secondly, McLaren to keep up their resurgence, as I think they're now the 4th best team in Formula 1. And third, Renault to get some good, solid points. So the first one, I think we can all agree. I think I certainly want to see Hamilton win the race, but I want him to do it having to battle his teammates and the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. So we'll have to see how that goes. Although the word on the street seems to be that Mercedes are going to be dominating this weekend. I think McLaren have improved a lot recently, 100%. You can't deny that. And personally, I'd love to see that. And Silverstone would be a perfect track for them to show their skill, and we want to see particularly their British driver Lando Norris do something special. And thirdly, Renault to get good points. Well, we want to see that, to have an exciting battle in the midfield between McLaren and Renault. Next up we have Robbie, who says Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen and Hamilton all battle for the race wins. So that is pretty similar to what David said. We have Norris to finish P6 at his home race, ahead of the rest of the midfield. I certainly agree with that one. And Gasly to finish in P5, getting the result he deserves considering the pressure he may currently be in at Red Bull. So here is my poll for the day. Is Pierre Gasly going to last the rest of the season at Red Bull? And how much does he really have to improve? Tell me down below or in the poll if I remember to do this when I edit the video. But yeah, for sure, we do want to see close racing throughout the field. But we do want to see, personally, I want to see a British winner. But also Norris to do really well. But Gasly, again, it's an interesting one. He's been struggling so much so far. And if I were voting my poll, I would say I don't think he has much time left. But the question is, who would replace him? Next up, we have Laurie, who says, these things are unlikely to happen, but this is what I want to see happen during the race. Both Mercedes to crash, so Spain 2016 style, Verstappen or Leclerc or Vettel to win, and both McLarens to challenge the top 3 teams. So both Mercedes, they could crash. It's just as likely as any other team crashing, although it depends whether Bottas is keeping up with Hamilton's pace. I think that's the most likely thing to talk about there. I think Verstappen or Leclerc or Vettel to win. Personally, I would love to see Charles Leclerc win the Grand Prix finally, or Verstappen continue with brilliant form from Austria. I don't really want to see Vettel win the race. I don't think he really deserves to so far this season. And both McLaren to challenge the top 3 teams. I think we all want to see that happen, but it might be a little bit too soon. Next up we have Nicole, who says McLaren to make a double podium, a wet race, and Kimi in the top 5. So McLaren being double on the podium, it seems a little bit unlikely unless we have a crazy race, but you also want to have a wet race. If there's a wet race and the field is almost neutralised with it, the McLarens could easily make a double podium, which would send the British crowd absolutely wild, and a wet race would be brilliant and be pretty good for Lewis Hamilton. Personally, I would love to see Hamilton first, Norris second, and then the other McLaren or Sainz in third. But a wet race would be pretty good. We had a few of them at Silverstone over the years, and the Uri's classics, and Kimi in the top 5. So I guess it's interesting to see that you really want to have both McLarens on the podium and Kimi in the top 5, but you never know. Formula 1, anything is possible. Next up we have Vehicle Valhalla. I've not pronounced it right, but I know that is crazy about cars, so we know who we're talking to at least. And he says Leclerc to win, Verstappen second, and a midfield driver on the podium. So of course, I said already I want Leclerc to win, and it would be nice to see, although I would still prefer a Hamilton win, but a Leclerc win would be nice. Verstappen second, so a bit of reverse really from Austria, and a midfield driver on the podium. So I guess that leaves the question, where would that leave Mercedes and Ferrari? But I guess a midfield driver on the podium could be Gasly. Sorry. F1 Fanatic says, for once I want rain in the UK, Gasly to get a top 5 finish, and McLaren to do as well as they did in Austria. So yeah, for once I want rain in the UK. Well, I live in Britain, I don't really want rain, but it can rain in Silverstone on the other side of the country from where I am, and be dry where I am, so I'm happy for a wet race. I love to see a wet race, providing it doesn't rain where I live. Gasly to get a top 5 finish, and so I would say that's unlikely in a way, because he hasn't really shown that pace so far this season. But if there's retirement or whatever, it could happen. And McLaren to do as well as in Austria, we'd all love to see that at Silverstone. Next up we have the F1 debate show, who goes from McLaren podium, a Charles Leclerc win, and there was guys in the F1 debate show doing the podium interviews, because they are going to the race. So firstly, I really hope you enjoyed the race, guys. Have a good one. Looking forward to seeing pictures or whatever on Twitter or whatever. Hope you have a really good weekend. And yeah, McLaren podium would be good. So I'm guessing you want to see a Charles Leclerc win, maybe Norris in second, and someone else in P3. I mean, a Leclerc win could happen, but McLaren podium, though pretty much everybody on here has said it so far, seems quite unlikely. We now have Game May, who says Leclerc to win. So again, that seems to be quite a common one. We seem to want to have a Leclerc first and Norris in P2. That's quite an interesting one, and it could happen. Who knows? And then finally we have Alice, who says a Lando Norris podium, but I'd be happy with a double points finish for McLaren too. And I would say, although I want to see McLaren do well, I don't think a podium is quite in their reach, and a double points finish sounds about right for now. So there you go, guys. That is all the answers from all you guys. And as for what I think the British Grand Prix should be used to decide next Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. Put Boris Johnson in a Ferrari, put Jeremy Hunt in a Mercedes or something, and let them battle it out and hope Boris Johnson loses. But seriously, I agree with all of you guys. Although I would love to see a Lewis Hamilton win as a fan, I get the idea. We do want to see other people win, and a Leclerc victory would be pretty awesome. And the Ferrari have done decently. Well, they won the race last year. Remember, Silverstone 2018 was an amazing race. And if something similar can happen with a Leclerc victory, and we want to see the McLarens do well and have a good weekend for some of the guys who have been struggling a little bit this season. And also, maybe let's see what George Russell, the third British driver, who nobody's mentioned so far for this video, let's see what he can do too. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.